Hi, my name is Robert Bear. I would like to share with you my close encounter with death and how it has greatly impacted my life. I used to be a strict and conservative police officer, and after retiring from the California Highway Patrol, I held various positions of power, such as being a university professor or city manager. However, my perception of life changed dramatically in 2008. One night, I received a call from an old police friend who asked me if I was right with the Lord. I responded that I thought I was, but didn't give it much thought. Later that year, I woke up in the middle of the night to find my mother, who had passed away in 2005, at the foot of my bed. She appeared youthful and spoke to me telepathically, telling me that I was going to die and to get my affairs in order. Despite this, I was filled with regret for not telling her how much I loved her. Sadly, shortly after this experience, my police friend passed away, and I participated in his celebration of life. Afterwards, I returned home, preparing for a trip to Arizona. This near-death experience has made me realize the importance of cherishing every moment and being grateful for those we love. Every spring, I would travel to Arizona to visit my son, who was a high school coach and history teacher, and his family. My son's spring break coincided with the start of spring training games, so we would spend our time together attending these games and spending time with my granddaughters. Before my trip one year, I woke up in the middle of the night and saw my friend, who had recently passed away, at the foot of my bed. He appeared young and told me he wanted to bring me through the light. I remember communicating with him telepathically and asking what he meant, but he disappeared after mentioning that he needed to visit his grandchildren in Sacramento. I confirmed through phone calls that his grandchildren did in fact live in Sacramento, but put the experience out of my mind. In March 2009, I traveled to Phoenix, Arizona, where the weather was hot, and I struggled to adjust to the heat. Despite feeling sick, I was looking forward to returning to my cooler coastal climate in Oregon. However, on my way to the airport, I suffered a massive heart attack on the plane. Fortunately, there were 2 off-duty firefighters and a doctor on the plane who were able to perform CPR and use a defibrillator. I don't remember any of this, as I was transported to a light filled with colors not found on Earth. I felt warm and was accompanied by 1 or more souls. I found myself in a place that was similar to an auditorium, surrounded by people or souls, but I was focused on the higher power in front of me. This presence was so powerful and humbling that I couldn't even look at it. I was telepathically asked what I could have done differently in my life. Then I was drawn to the left, and I saw a complete review of my life from conception until my death. I told my father about this experience, and he asked me questions about what I saw. I described my mother's clothing, and he showed me a picture that matched what I saw, which was taken on the day they found out she was pregnant with me, and he asked her to marry him. We laughed about it, as my mother never mentioned this when she was alive. I then saw my life as a young boy, and it was amazing to see the interactions and life lessons I had learned. I remembered asking my father for baseball cards when I was 4 or 5, and my mother said no. It was just the dynamics of our family. So anyway, I stole some baseball cards from the store. When I got home, I was in my bedroom, and I was opening the cards and found a pack of gum inside. I popped it in my mouth. My mother walked in and asked what I had, and I got into trouble. My parents took me back to the store, and my mother told the manager that I had stolen the cards. She went on a rant about how it was unacceptable in our family, and even threatened to call the police. The manager eventually just asked for a nickel, which my dad gave him, and the matter was settled. I was grounded for a long time. But my dad told me his story, and we laughed about it. I thanked him and my mother for their role in shaping my life. Later in life, I had some good experiences like falling in love again, but also some tough ones like betrayal. I went through a very confrontational divorce and didn't speak to my ex-wife for years. But when our daughter needed surgery for cancer, we agreed to bury the hatchet for her sake. I asked my ex-wife about some of the betrayals I had experienced, and she admitted to them. I had a hard time dealing with betrayal in my life, but in my near-death experience, I saw my dog who had passed away and was so happy to see me. I saw all the ups and downs of my life, including the birth of my children, and I eventually returned to my body in the hospital. I had been dead for 45 minutes, but a doctor from Pakistan brought me back. I passed away again briefly, but the doctor saved me. The second time I passed away, I hovered above my body and watched as the medical staff worked on me. I heard them shouting that they had lost me once again. But my mind was elsewhere, not on their commotion. It was focused on another part of the hospital. When I arrived in the ambulance, they had placed my personal belongings inside it as well. I noticed a few people going through my wallet, trying to determine my identity. I watched them and listened to their conversations as they were joined by some police officers, including myself. I carry 2 wallets, one with my everyday items and another with my badge and ID. They were searching for my insurance cards, and I attempted to inform them that they were in my police wallet. But I soon realized they couldn't hear me, and I thought that I must be dead. The next thing I remember was being revived by Dr. Docker. I spent several days in the hospital's intensive care unit, and I was trying to hold on long enough for my daughter and son to visit me. The doctor was constantly checking on me, and I told him about what I had seen and heard in the emergency room. When I died for the second time, the doctor asked me if I had seen anything. I confirmed that I had, and I repeated everything I had heard. The doctor summoned the people who had been working that day and asked them to listen to my account. When I repeated what I had seen, they confirmed that it was exactly what had been said. I bring this up because people often talk about near-death experiences, with some claiming to have seen a bright light or to have hovered above their body. However, there's no evidence, no cameras, no videos. It's all based on personal experiences and perceptions. I had 2 separate near-death experiences on the same day, and I've heard people talk about different aspects of near-death experiences, like hovering over their body or hearing music. Despite my education in law school, I just wanted to go home to Oregon. But my doctor didn't want me to leave and insisted I needed another surgery. Eventually, he arranged for a colleague in Oregon to perform the procedure, and I made it back home for the surgery. As of today, I've had an extra 4,999 days of life. And tomorrow will be my 5,000th day. I try to live each day like it's my last, cherishing this gift of time. Around the same time I died, Michael Jackson also passed away and was dead for 45 minutes before they tried to revive him in Los Angeles. His doctor was known for bringing people back to life, but he couldn't save Michael. I owe a lot to my doctor from Pakistan who let me die, but I often wonder what Michael Jackson would have given for an extra 4,999 days of life. It truly is a blessing. As someone who has experienced a near-death experience, I have learned the value of life. The experience of hovering over my own body and witnessing people going through my belongings while I was unconscious has made me appreciate every day I am given. It has also made me realize the importance of living in the present moment and cherishing the time I have with loved ones. Through this experience, I have come to understand that life is precious and can be taken from us at any moment. This has inspired me to live each day to the fullest and make the most of every opportunity that comes my way. I have learned to appreciate the simple things in life and focus on what truly matters to me. In conclusion, my near-death experience has taught me the importance of cherishing life and making the most of every moment. I have learned to live in the present and focus on what truly matters, and I hope to inspire others to do the same.